Long before there were pharmacies, there were healers. Mothers, fathers, and neighbors who turned to the earth for wellness. Welcome to the Reality of Herbal Therapy podcast with Jim Applegate. Each week we explore the plants, traditions, and time-honored remedies that connect us to that ancient wisdom, so you can bring it into your modern life.
Welcome to the Reality of Herbal Therapy podcast. So, this coming weekend is the Super Bowl. My dad loved football. He would watch it every Sunday, and he was very, very involved. Lynn's dad, on the other hand, Dr. James, despised football. he couldn't understand why anybody would want to play these silly sports and dress up in these silly outfits and play football. So what does all of this have to do with herbs? Well, Super Bowl is sort of like, that is the kicker. That is, once it starts, I know that allergy season is coming. If I don't have enough Hayaz on hand, as soon as Super Bowl comes, I start to panic. I get really, really concerned. Super Bowl means allergies are coming. So for me, it's a little bit different. So I wanted to kind of let's talk about, seeing how we've got Super Bowl on the mind and football and everything. Let's talk about how we can compare that and apply it to the upcoming allergy season that's coming. So when it comes to allergies, a lot of people wait until they pretty much can't breathe. They're suffering. Their eyes are completely itchy and it's really, really hard to get on. That's like running the last 2 minutes of the Super Bowl without having a plan. So basically the Super Bowl of allergies is coming. You want to be ready for it. You want to get ahead of it. You want to be prepared. Just like every single football player that is going to the Super Bowl this weekend, they didn't start playing football this last weekend. They've been preparing for their entire lives pretty much for what's coming up for this Super Bowl this weekend. Allergies are kind of the same way. You want to be preparing yourself for what's coming. So we want to talk about how to prepare yourself for the coming allergy season, because whether you're ready or not, it's going to come, and you can either suffer through it or you can be better from it. So let's talk a little bit about it. So preparation, of course, first thing, so as far as preparation, you got to get your starting lineup in set up. You got to know who's your quarterback, who's playing what positions and everything that you do. That's where we want to be in preparing for the Super Bowl. So with allergies, we've got Hayaz. That's our quarterback. That's our guy that comes in and he's going to take care of everything. He's going to be the guiding of everything that's going on. So basically, to kind of let you know what to expect. Right now, the juniper is starting to pollinate, and juniper pollen is one of the most notorious nasty guys in New Mexico. Juniper pollen, I suffer extremely with juniper pollen. If I'm not ready for the allergy season, juniper pollen is going to knock me on my butt, and I won't be able to breathe. I won't be able to see. My sinuses are just going to be overloaded with mucus. And that's because all of that pollen is starting to wake up. In our last episode, we talked about snow mold, just a little bit of moisture and the changing of temperature. It's been warm this last week. Temperatures are going to start to rise. All the plants are going to start waking up, and that's when they start to pollinate. And in New Mexico, we have the wind. So not only do we have pollination, but we have extremely strong winds that blow it straight into our faces. So you want to be prepared. So Hayaz, being our quarterback, preparation. Had somebody come in today who she's been suffering with allergies for the last couple of days, and she said, I took 6 capsules 2 days ago and 6 more yesterday, and then she's like, oh, I ran out. So she came in to get some more, but she plans on taking 6 more today. But that's kind of like getting in there at the last minute. Hayaz is going to definitely help. Like she said, because of that, she could breathe and she's feeling a lot better. But she asked, how do I prevent it in the long run? And it's something Dr. James talked about quite often. 1 to 2 Hayaz a day, every day for a year. And once allergy season comes, your allergy response in your body is set up on high alert. It's ready. It can handle it and it can do what it needs to do. So just think about preparation. Also, this time of year, because of the changes of seasons and the thing that's going on, you want to increase your hydration. And if you're not getting enough water, then your body can't cope with what it needs. Another thing that I talked about with the lady that was taking all that Hayaz is minerals. Basically, once that comes, our minerals start getting sucked really, really fast. And that's why a lot of people will crave sugars when they have allergy issues because some sugar has some minerals in it. Our body can't use it as well. So, and it pulls minerals from other places, but that's why we crave sugar. So when you're craving sugar like that, especially with allergies, you want to increase your minerals that you're taking. Or if you're not taking minerals, take minerals to help increase the minerals in your body. Just talk a little bit about the MVPs of allergy season. So we kind of like touched on Hayaz. Hayaz would be the top of the MVPs. Hayaz is essential for upper respiratory allergies. Anything from the throat up, Hayaz will help take care of it. So if your allergies is causing a sore throat or an itchy throat, itchy eyes, clogged ears, a lot of drainage of mucus, Hayaz is the go-to. That's the MVP for the upper respiratory system. Another thing to think about, and as far as taking Hayaz, and if Hayaz is the quarterback, Fection is the wide receiver. Fection catches all of the nasties and the yuckies and basically once we have allergies, our body sees it as a poison. It's trying to get rid of a poison to the body, and it becomes overwhelmed. And it can actually spend so much time trying to deal with the poison that some viruses can sneak in and get you. So Fection is really important to add to your MVP list because Hayaz, along with Fection, basically builds up the upper respiratory system, but it also helps to help your immune system so that if you're overwhelmed with allergies, then some nasty infection can't sneak through while your body's trying to deal with the allergies. So going back to our analogy, Hayaz is our quarterback, Fection is our wide receiver. Our tight ends is Monia. Basically, Dr. James always said that any asthma issue was because of uncontrolled allergies. So your your allergies are uncontrolled in your sinuses and your nose and your throat, and it's draining down into your lungs all day constantly. Puts a lot of pressure on the lungs, and the lungs have to deal with that. And it once the lungs get overwhelmed with all of that mucus and stuff, then then that's when asthma kicks in because your lungs are just overwhelmed. They can't cope with everything that they're supposed to do as well as deal with everything that they're being flooded with every day. So ammonia is really, really helpful, especially with allergies that go on for a long time. Because you want to basically you don't want your lungs to have to be compromised. Allergies that go on for too long can turn into all sorts of those lung issues, bronchitis, pneumonia, things like that. So, and it doesn't take a lot of ammonia, especially if you're really taking a lot of Hayaz to deal with allergies. It just takes a little bit of ammonia and Fection. It doesn't take tons of it. A lot, just like in football, all the attention is on the quarterback. The quarterback's doing all that work, but you have all these other guys that are doing just a little bit to move that ball forward. So Hayaz does a lot of the work, but you want to support it with Fection and ammonia so that you can move that ball forward, not dealing with allergies. So one more of our MVP list is Flum Up. So if you've got all of that drainage going on, like I talked about, your lungs can become overwhelmed with it and it becomes hard to move it out. That's when you get like raspy breathing or, kind of liquidy stuff in the lungs. And when you've got all of that liquid in the lungs, then that's when you become susceptible to things like bronchitis, pneumonia, all of those things. Phlegm Up helps move all of that mucus out. And so just like our other MVPs, you've got Hayaz, which is doing all of the work, but you want to give them some support of the rest of the team. Phlegm Up doesn't take much, just a little bit, but it's another one of those supports to help get your lungs and everything moving and keep you from getting bogged down. So that's the MVP team of defeating allergies. And you kind of want to have all of them on hand because, like that one lady that was able to come in today, she said normally she's off on Fridays and that's why she could come in on a Friday, but normally she can't get in here. If it had been Monday, she would have had to suffer all week with her allergies before she could get in here. So make sure you have your starting lineup in your cupboard and ready to go for whenever game day of allergies comes and you have to deal with it. You want to be ready for game day. Let's talk about some things that you can do to help when the allergies start getting really, really massive on you. So basically, the pollen comes in through the nose and through the mouth for the majority of it. So anything you can do for your nose to help it not be open and susceptible to the pollen that's trying to get in. A couple things that we like to do is swab the nose. Any good herbal salve works. We like the Comfrey Gold salve simply because it had the comfrey and the golden seal basically are very healing to the membranes. So by swabbing your nose with that, you're not only is the oil and the salve, it traps all of that gunk and the goo and all the pollen that's trying to get in through your nose. But it also has those herbs which are very soothing and healing. It strengthens those membranes so they're better able to catch whatever's coming in. Also, by swabbing the nose, you're helping because the reason we produce mucus is to trap the pollen, but it also helps to when the sinuses are very dry and dehydrated. So swabbing your nose will help increase the hydration of the sinuses. Another great thing to do that we really like is to get just a little 1 or 2 ounce squirt bottle and put water and just a pinch of salt. And you want a good salt. You don't want something that has like iodized salt or anything with additives. You want just regular plain sea salt and a little bit of baking soda in the water. And it just takes a pinch in that 2 ounce bottle. And then you lay down and lean your head back and squirt the water in your nose. And it doesn't take much, just a little bit. That will help with the hydration, but also the baking soda and the salt helps with the pH of the sinuses, which helps your body to deal with any of the pollens or anything that's coming in. And especially if you've got the right pH, then viruses, molds, those things get killed off. So having that right pH in your nose is really, really essential. The way you can tell if you have it right is it doesn't burn. If you put straight water in your nose, it burns. It's really almost feels irritating to your sinuses. But if you have the right pH of the baking soda and the salt, it doesn't burn at all. And it's actually really soothing and comforting. And if you don't have a bottle, neti pot or something like that, and you don't have to completely, like with a neti pot, where you irrigate the sinuses completely. If you're overwhelmed with pollen, a neti pot is amazing for irrigating and kind of washing out all of the pollen and stuff. But if it's just to increase the moisture in the nose, using that squirt bottle is really, really amazing and helpful. So there's a lot of teas that are really wonderful as well for the throat, but one that we really, really like is sage, because when we're being attacked by all of this pollen or all of these allergens that are in the air, even if it's just the dust from all the wind, our throats tend to close up. They get irritated and they kind of close up, and then it becomes hard to breathe, and we have issues with that. And a tea made with sage leaf is amazing for soothing the throat and helping it to open back up. And sage doesn't have much flavor on its own, so we like to add it to like a peppermint tea or some other tea that tastes really good and have that the with the sage. Another thing a lot of people like to do is they will, if they've got that irritation in the throat, is to gargle with with water with salt in it, and that basically, again, you're balancing the pH. You're making it so the throat can deal with all of the allergens that are coming at it. Steam is also a really wonderful thing. So, like a hot shower or a bowl of steam, those are really, really helpful. Oh, I forgot to mention, if you're doing like sage tea or something like that, just like honey is one of those, it's a food, but it's also a medicine, but it's a really great medicine. So putting a little bit of honey in your tea is also very soothing to the throat, but it also has like antiviral, antibacterial, anti all of those things. So it helps like kill off any molds and funguses that are in that are trying to attack you and stuff. It's so soothing and nice. Let's see what else is there to talk about. Hydration, I kind of, touched on that. Water is a big key thing. When your body is trying to deal with all of these allergens, it's going to use up a lot of water. So you're going to want to increase your water intake while you're being attacked by all of these allergens. And I also mentioned sugar and carbohydrates, anything white, as Dr. James would say, can be really rough on the system. Your body has to do a lot of extra work to digest, to process, and to deal with all of the things that are in those, like in sugars and things like that. So try and avoid those as much as you can. So all of those home remedies are very, very helpful for allergies. So allergy season doesn't have to like knock you on your butt. Like some years it does me. While we were in Oregon, I kind of like got away from it. Allergy season didn't bother me much at all, which is funny because Dr. James was in Oregon, and that's how he came up with Hayaz, because he was suffering so bad with allergies. In Oregon, I hardly had allergies at all. It was never much of a problem. But boy, you get me last couple of weeks of February, first couple of weeks of March, that month in New Mexico, if I'm not ready for it, if I haven't been taking Hayaz consistently, it knocks me flat. I can think of days I get up and I can't get air. I've I've done the whole boil water and stick it in a bowl and stick the towel over my head, just trying to get the mucus to break free and to be able to just breathe. So remember to have your MVPs on hand and ready, because the season can change, fluctuate, how early it comes, how late it comes, based on moisture and storms and all sorts of different things. So if you have your MVPs ready and your routines down, it's a good opportunity to be able to go out there, win that Super Bowl game of defeating the allergies, and you can end up being on top of it. So it's real important to listen to your body. It'll start giving you signals early on, so like the lady that I mentioned earlier that came in, she was stuffy. She's trying to get on top of her allergies before they get really bad in a couple of weeks. Listen to your body, and whatever is feeling itchy or irritated or, dry, take care of it quickly and early on, so to catch it before it becomes a problem. And that's why you want to have your MVPs on hand, especially Hayaz. If you don't have anything else for allergies, having Hayaz on hand, just in case, just to be ready for that big game when it comes. Because if you're not ready, like I said, it knocks you flat. I know it knocks me flat. So it was nice getting to talk to you about prepping, getting ready for that big game that's coming, because it's a long one, it's a rough one, and that whole season, just if I'm not ready, I know it knocks me down. And so I wanted to share this with you so that maybe you don't have to suffer like I have to suffer. But also to know that I don't have to suffer if I stay on top of things and get ahead of it. If you have any questions, just feel free to reach out, talk to us. We love to be helpful. And I will talk to you later.
You've been listening to the Reality of Herbal Therapy podcast with Jim Applegate. Visit drugfreehelpstore.com to download your free Healer in Every Home guidebook and explore herbal formulas that support your health naturally. Be sure to follow the podcast, leave a review, and share it with someone who loves natural living as much as you do. Thanks for joining us, and remember, true healing starts at home.
It is not the intent of professional herbal instruction or any persons associated therewith to diagnose or prescribe. The intent is only to offer herbal information for your consideration. In the event you use this information without your doctor's approval, you are prescribing for yourself, which is your God-given right. But professional herbal instruction or any persons associated herewith assume no responsibility. The claims and statements made on this podcast have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.